All right, well, welcome. So it almost feels like spring out there this morning, which is super nice. Yeah, it's still a little icy for anybody who's been out and about. You got to watch your step out there. All right, so let's do a little bit of yoga this morning. If you want to come right up to the front edge of your chair. Okay. Good. And if you want to close your eyes this morning, I'll invite you to do that. If you'd rather not close your eyes, just drop your gaze down at the floor. So this just kind of brings your awareness into your own body, into your own space. And notice what your body feels like this morning. Notice the areas that feel tight or tense or maybe a little painful. And notice the areas that feel comfortable. It's often just the parts of the body that are calling for your attention with discomfort that you pay attention to. So it's nice to just do a little scan and see where in your body you feel some comfort, where you feel some ease. And notice if you're holding tension somewhere. Are your shoulders tight? Are your hands kind of clenched? What about your feet, your legs, your arms? And notice your jaw. Are your teeth kind of clenched together, or can you create a little space between the upper teeth and lower teeth? And turn your attention now to your breath and notice the way air is moving in and out of your body. Are you able to breathe in and out through your nose comfortably? Or are you having a little difficulty this morning with breath, perhaps breathing in through your nose and out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle? And does the air move evenly between the right and left nostrils? Or is one side more open than the other? And notice the temperature of the air as you breathe in and out. And can you follow your breath through the nostrils down into the back of your throat and all the way down into your lungs? As you inhale and exhale, can you feel your chest rising and falling with each breath? And what happens if you draw the breath a little deeper? Can you feel movement in your belly, an expansion and contraction with every inhale and exhale? And now let your breath get really long and slow and deep. As you breathe in, see if you can do a mental count in your head to 4. And as you breathe out, again, that slow mental count to 4. And it's a very slow 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So breathing in to a slow count of 4 and breathing out to a slow count of 4. And as the breath gets longer and slower and deeper, and you're able to maintain that slow pace of 4, notice how that shifts things. It's not unusual to feel a little tickle in the throat. It's not unusual to feel like you're not getting enough breath in or out. So we give it several rounds, Slowly breathing in and out to slow count of 4. And now with every breath in, that long, slow count of 4, as you breathe in, see if you can lengthen your spine. And with every long, slow breath out, see if you can relax your shoulders a little bit more. So with each breath in, the spine gets longer. And with each breath out, the shoulders relax a little bit more. The next time that you breathe in, coming right to the top of your inhalation, pause and hold your breath for just a second, and then see if you can take in just a little bit more breath before letting it out in an exhalation. And repeat that 2 more times. So breathing in, when you get to the very top of your inhalation, pause. And then take in a little bit more breath if you can. See if you can get your lungs a little bit fuller before you exhale. And last time, breathing in, top of the inhalation, pause. Take in a little bit more, and then exhale. And at the bottom of that exhalation, go back to your natural breath. Just let the air move in and out. And let your eyes gently open. Good. And then let's do a little work with the hands this morning. So bending and extending the fingers. And when you extend, really extend them. Get your little fingers and your thumbs as far away from each other as they can go. Notice how your hands are working this morning. Maybe one hand is working a little more easily than the other. Good. And then let's press out like you're saying stop, extend the elbows, and keep the elbows extended as you move your hands just from your wrists up and down. Relax your shoulder tops. So if your arms are way up here, see if you can bring them down a little bit. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bring the hands so that they're parallel to the floor. And again, keeping the elbows extended and the shoulders relaxed. Bring your little fingers out to the sides and then your thumbs in. So keep the hands as flat as they'll stay, right? And the movement is just at the wrist. Just at the wrist. Good. Okay, and now move on the right hand, move to the little finger side. On the left hand, move to the thumb side. And then switch, left hand, right hand. So we're just kind of going back and forth. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. And then let's circle at the wrists. Relax your elbows. Bring your arms out to the sides. Keep circling the wrists. Bend your elbows. Bring your arms forward. Keep circling. Bend your elbows. Go out to the sides. Bend your elbows. Come forward. Now reverse circles. And bend your elbows and go out to the sides and breathe as you're doing this. Bending elbows, coming in. We could have used this last week, right? Going out and then coming back in. Good, and then shake that all out. Great. Let's extend the arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. Again, relax your shoulders away from your ears. We're just going to tap the shoulders. So just bending and extending, getting a little bit of movement in the elbow joints, right? Good. And then next time you tap your shoulders, let's go up overhead. And we'll do that a few times. So just going up overhead. Now, if your arm doesn't go up overhead, You can come out to the front a little bit. You can come up only as high as it'll go. So breathe in, breathe out. Good. Great. Next time you tap your shoulders, we're going to come forward. So pressing forward, we'll do that a few times, right? So really keep the elbows lifted if you can, but keep the shoulders relaxed if you can, right? Sometimes we lift the elbows by tightening the shoulders. Good. Next time you tap your shoulders, let's go out to the sides and up overhead and out in front, right? Out to the sides, up overhead, and out in front. Is anybody breathing? Trying to get it all figured out first? Whoopsie, I went forward. Can't talk and do this work at the same time, right? It's hard. Great. Whoops, I did it wrong, right? It's good to see that I can do it. I can't do it the right way now. Okay, so we do our own thing, right? All right, one more time, all the way through. Great. Okay, and then holding your hands right here if you can, relaxing your shoulders. We're just going to kayak the arms. So it's like you're paddling a kayak there, right? Make some nice big circles. And big is relative. So again, if you're working with an issue with your shoulder, just do the best you can. Okay. And at some point, we're going to reverse direction. So go the other way. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay. And then relax the arms down. Let's just take that right shoulder, circle it up and around. Notice if it's a little noisy in there. Shoulders tend to be crunchy, crackly. All right, and then we're going to take that arm, we're going to bring it in front and all the way over to the left. We're going to pull that arm over to the left, turn and look out over your right shoulder, and then lift and lower your chin like you're saying yes. So just gently lifting and lowering the chin. Notice where you're feeling a stretch. Breathe in, breathe out. Great, and then bring your head back to center. We're going to take that arm back around behind your back. So just let it rest on the small of your back. You got it. Reach back there, grab hold of your hand or your wrist or whatever you can get a hold of, and just give it a really gentle pull over to the left. And then we're going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. So just kind of holding in this position. Relax your neck, your jaw. Relax your shoulder. And then if it's comfortable, turn your nose down toward the floor and then rotate your head and turn your nose up toward the ceiling. So keep your ear as close to your shoulder as you can. And again, just kind of doing the best you can here. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, twisting the head down and up. Good. And then bring your head all the way back up. Release that arm. We're going to take the left arm over to the right. Pull it across your body. Turn and look out over your left shoulder. We're going to do a little yes movement here with the head. Breathing in, breathing out. Notice if it feels different on this side. So for most of us, we have a little better range of movement on one side than the other. And then you're going to turn your head back to center. Release that arm, sweep it around behind your back. Grab hold of the hand or the wrist back there. Give it a little pull over to the right and then drop your right ear to your right shoulder and relax. So relax the neck, the shoulder, relax your jaw. And then if it feels okay, turn your nose down and then up. So we're just doing, this is like a no movement with your head. You're kind of at an angle, but it's sort of a no movement with your head. So we're just stretching and engaging, alternately stretching and engaging different muscles in the neck. And those neck muscles go down into your shoulder, into your upper back, into your chest. And sometimes they're so invested with the arm muscles that we can feel it down into the arm, maybe even into the elbow. So a couple more, breathing nice and slow. Good, and then head comes back to center. We're going to raise the head up, release that arm. Let both arms kind of hang down by your sides a little bit. And with your arms relaxed, now we're just going to engage the shoulder tops and lift the shoulders way up, like you could press your shoulders into your ears, and then all at once you're going to drop them down. So bring the shoulders up, keep breathing, squeeze like you could get your shoulders right into your ears, and then all at once drop it down. And one more time, bring the shoulders up, squeeze, and drop it down. Good. All right. Relax your arms, relax your shoulders, take your right leg out, extending through that knee. Heel on the floor, and we're going to start with the toes. So this is what I'm doing with my toes up here, especially for the folks at home who have a hard time seeing. So we're doing this with the toes and looking down there. So if you've got your socks on, you can see what's happening with your toes. If you have your shoes on, there's a little bit, the movement is a little bit restricted, but just do the best you can. And then the next time your toes are lifted toward your shin, so you're here in flexion with your foot, spread your toes really wide. And again, you won't be able to do this so well with a shoe on, but do the best you can. And then kind of relax the toes, but keep them reaching toward the shin. And again, spread them really wide. See if you can get your little toe and your big toe as far away from one another as they'll go. And relax. And again, draw those toes toward the shin and then spread them really wide. And relax. Okay, was anybody breathing doing that? That's a breath holding thing, right? Because you're really trying to get the toes to do that. So let's start to point and flex the foot. And breathe as you're doing this. Little crackles in the ankle, right? That's pretty normal. The ankle doesn't get to have a whole lot of movement without weight bearing for most of us unless you do this on a regular basis. And then let's circle around. So if you didn't have any crackling, just pointing and flexing, you might have a little now. And reverse direction. Good. Okay, and then heel comes down to the floor. Now make sure you're sitting right up near the front edge of your chair. You're going to take your hands and just kind of hold on to the chair right here because you don't want anybody to slide off. So we're just going to bend that knee and bring the foot under the chair and then extend. So this is just movement for the knee now. Bending and extending. Now as you come under, imagine you could get your heel to the bottom of the chair, right? So when you get there, squeeze those muscles in the back of the thigh. You'll feel that. Those are your hamstring muscles. Hamstring muscles tend to be tight, but not as strong as they should be. Next time you have your knee bent, I'm going to hold it there. Bring your heel closer to the bottom of the chair. So lift your heel up, right? You're lifting it up toward the bottom of the chair, feeling the back of the thigh muscles really working here. Breathing. It's not optional, guys. It's kind of important. Okay, put your foot down on the floor and we're going to stretch the bottom of the toes, right? So as you're here, press down into your toes. So if you're having a little difficulty seeing, it's sort of like that. So we're stretching the bottom of the toes. Now notice is your little toe like kind of jammed up to the one next to it? So take some of the pressure off your foot. See if you can spread your toes out and then press down again. See if you can get that little toe so that it's getting its own stretch. It's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for most people if the toe has been next to the crammed up to the next one. Breathe in, breathe out. Press down a little bit more if you can. So you want to go to a place where it's maybe a little uncomfortable but not painful. We're stretching the bottom of the foot, taking some breaths in and out. So don't forget that breathing part. Good. Okay, now relax that. Come up over the top of the foot. So you're going to go right up over the toes, and now we're stretching the top part of the foot. So your foot is pointed like that. So we're stretching that. Once again, notice is most of the pressure kind of on the big toe side. See if you can get a little more onto the little toe side and kind of go back and forth a bit. All right, so if you press a little more onto the little toe side, you'll feel the outside edge of the top of the foot. Are you breathing? Are you feeling a different sensation in there? Now, some people might be feeling it up into the shin. You might even be feeling it up into your knee a little bit. Excellent. Okay, and then lift that foot up, and we're just going to circle it around a little bit. Bring the heel to the floor, toes lifted toward the ceiling. So now we're going to rotate the whole leg, and the movement is going to come from way up here. So if you take your hand and place it up kind of at the top of your thigh, so right where the top of your thigh is before it gets into your hip, and we're going to rotate the whole leg in and out, or out and in if you prefer. And as you're doing this, you should feel some movement under your hand, right? You should feel a rotation in your thigh. Breathe in, breathe out. How are we doing? All right, we're getting a little looser there in those joints. So we started with the toes, the ankle, the knee. Now we're up into the hip, getting all the muscles in between, and ligaments and tendons and all kinds of good juicy bits in there. Okay, and then the next time that your foot is straight up, we're going to hold here. And once again, make sure you're comfortable on your chair. I would say for this, you probably want to have your hands here just to give your back a little support. You're going to keep that right knee straight as it'll be. Press out through your heel, pull your belly in a little bit and breathe. And slowly raise the heel and slowly lower the heel. So see if you can do the raising and lowering to a count of 3, a slow 3, right? So very slowly. And when you raise, see if you can focus all of your intention here in that upper thigh. So the place above the knee and between the knee and the hip. And the next time that you raise the leg, stay here, hold and breathe. Now notice if you're starting to lose your posture, if you're leaning back a little bit, if you're holding yourself up with your neck, relax all of that and focus everything right there on those quadriceps muscles, those thigh muscles. These are the muscles of mobility. You get these nice and strong, it's easier to go up and down the stairs, get in and out of the car, just to stay independent, you know, moving from place to place. So there might be a little shaking going on right now. There might be a little burning going on right now. Yeah. It might feel like it weighs 1,000 pounds. And it doesn't, but it's not a lightweight either. A lot of your body weight is actually in your legs. Got a lot of muscles there. Big bones in your legs. Nice big bones in your legs. How are we doing? You still with me? Okay. Can you take 3, a count of 3 to lower your heel down? Hoo-wee. Oh, when it gets all the way down, relax it. Give it a little bend and little massage. Holy moly. And then bring your feet so that they're just about parallel with each other. Rest your hands on your lap. Sit up tall, close your eyes. And see if you can feel from the inside your right leg, from your toes all the way to your hip. And compare that with your left leg. Again, from your toes all the way to your hip. Notice what your toes feel like on the right side versus the left. Notice your foot. Maybe your foot feels bigger, broader, wider. Maybe your leg feels taller, warmer. There's all kinds of different ways that we can compare your ankle on the right and your ankle on the left. The lower leg, the knee, the thigh, the hip. And now that you've got that comparison, open your eyes, extend your left leg, have your heel on the floor, and we'll start with the toes. So again, this is what I'm doing with my toes up here. And notice how the toes on this foot move. Maybe they move differently than the other foot. Good. And the next time your toes are reaching up toward your shin, that's in flexion. So we're trying to bring the toes up toward the shin. Hold it there. And then see if you can spread your toes out really wide. So you're trying to get your little toe and your big toe as far away from each other as possible. And then relax that spreading, but keep the toes lifting toward the shin. Breathe in, breathe out, right? So don't forget the breathe in, breathe out. And extending the toes as far away from one another as they can go. And relaxing that. And one more time, really spread those toes out nice and wide. And relax that. Good. Now let's point and flex the foot. Maybe a little ankle music on this side. Maybe it was more on the other side. And then we'll start to circle around. Oh, I hear some good music out there now. And reverse. Good, and then heel comes down to the floor, and once again have your hands kind of right alongside your body. You're going to pull your belly in a little bit, keep your spine lifted, keep your shoulders relaxed. We're going to bend and extend that knee. Good. So I didn't mention this on the other side, but if you have some issues with your hip or your knee, you can always slide your foot on the floor, or you can bring it out and place it on the floor. If you can, keep it lifted. That's going to give you a little more strength here in the thigh and a little more strength in your hip flexor muscles. Okay, next time your heel is under, let's hold it there. Get your heel closer to the bottom of the chair if you can. So I want you to really activate those back of the thigh muscles. Those are your hamstring muscles. Those are the antagonist muscles to your quadriceps, right? So the quadriceps in the front, they straighten your knee. Your hamstrings in the back, they bend your knee. So you want to have some balance there. You don't want to be too strong in one direction or the other. Get your heel a little closer to the chair. And breathe. Great. And now just bring that foot to the floor. We're going to stretch the bottom of the foot, the bottom of the toes, right? Check in with that little toe. I know on this side, my little toe likes its neighbor way too much. So spread it out a little bit and then see if you can get each toe on the floor and then press down. So for me, since my little toe on this side really likes its neighbor, I'm going to press a little more into the outside edge of my foot. That's going to encourage a little more opening there because my big toe is nice and flexible on this side. It's my little toe that needs a little more. So you can kind of play with that. See what feels okay. Good, and then we're going to come up over the top of the toes and stretch the top of the foot. So again, we're pointing the foot now. That's extension of the foot. And once again, you might investigate a little more pressure in the little toe side, a little more pressure in the big toe side. So whatever gives you the most sensation. For some people, pressing into the big toe side, you're going to feel it like right down the center of the shin. Some people, that's where it's tight. Other people, it's going to be out here. So if it's out here on the side, you want to press a little more into the little toe side of your foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Excellent. Just a couple more if you can. Good. And then we're going to release that, extend the leg, just circle that around a little bit as you get your heel to the floor. So heel to the floor, toes lifted up toward the ceiling. Take your left hand now, place it on your thigh right where that crease is, right? So you just want to hold there and then rotate the whole leg in and out or out and in and see what you notice, right? And notice if it's easier for you to go out or easier for you to go in, right? Do you have more range going out or more range going in? So there's a lot of things that go into this movement. Part of it is your muscles, how tight they are, how strong they are. Part of it is the orientation of your leg bone into your hip. Okay. And then the next time that your foot is straight up, we're going to hold here, both hands back to the chair, sitting up nice and tall. Pull your belly in so the belly muscles actually help raise the leg a little bit. And then we're going to slowly raise that heel to a count of 3 and slowly lower the heel to a count of 3. Keep the knee as straight as you can. Keep breathing. And you can just let the heel tap and raise, or if you need a little bit more of a break, you can kind of let the leg relax for a moment and then go back to it. So this is the nice thing about doing a yoga program like this, is that you really work with what you've got. Maybe one side you're stronger and you're able to hold the leg up a little bit more. Maybe the other side you're not so much. So the next time you lift up, we're going to hold here and bring your toes toward your shin a little bit more. And notice if you've started to lose your posture. Notice if you're holding yourself up with your neck and shoulders. Relax that down. Breathe in, breathe out. So really squeeze these muscles. You want to activate these thigh muscles right here. And you might notice that there's a little shaking on this side. Maybe a little burning on this side, right? Maybe it was more on the other side. And I'm positive this leg does not weigh more than the other one. It might feel like it does, but it doesn't. So let's see if we can take a slow count of 3 to lower the heel to the floor. And when that heel gets down, relax the leg. Whew. Give that leg a little massage. Excellent. Okay. So let's just kind of tap like running in place, tap the feet on the floor. And then go wider. And then closer. So we're going to go out and in a few times. Okay, and then everybody over to the right. And then over to the left. And to the right. And to the left. Don't fall off your chair. When you get over to the right, stay there. Okay, and take that right leg and swing it out a little bit so that you've got the corner of the chair like right at your belly button, and scoot right to the front of the chair. Okay, and now we're going to take the feet, the heels and the toes, and we're going to walk the knees far apart. And angle your toes out, right? So if anybody took like ballet, right? Is this first position? Is that right? I never took ballet, but I think that's what it is. Okay, so now with your toes angled out and your knees as far apart as they'll go, I'm going to ask you to pull your knees behind you. So a little bit more. It's like you're trying to pull your knees farther apart. Everybody got that? Breathe in, breathe out. Now, as you're holding your knees back there, take your arms out to the sides. Bend your elbows and bring your palms forward, just like this. Breathe in, breathe out. Pull your shoulder blades together. Got that? There's a lot going on here. Breathe. Try not to bring your chin forward, right? So pulling your shoulder blades back does not require your chin to come forward. It just requires your shoulder blades to come back. Keep breathing. Doing great. One more breath in and out. And then lower your hands, relax your legs, walk your feet back together. Good. Now do a little quarter turn so that you're facing me, but you're on the edge, you're on the right edge of your chair. And we're going to take that leg out to the side, extend it out, have your heel on the floor and the toes lifted up. So your body is facing forward, right? Your leg is going out to the side. So we're going to take the right hand, right here on the thigh, and your left hand on your shoulder. I want you to just pull your shoulder back a little bit. Can you keep your shoulder there? Take that left hand down to the chair. Okay. And now lean over into that right side. Don't let go of your chair, though. So we're leaning to the right side, even if you just have your finger on the chair. And then come back up. So think about lengthening your spine, breathing in, breathing out, keeping the shoulder back as we lean out into that right side. Coming back up. Good. One more time. Leaning out to the side. Great. Okay, now this time, take your hand up to your shoulder. We're going to hold it there and lean a little bit farther. So if you feel like you're going to come off your chair, just come up a little bit and then come all the way up. Now the hand is on the shoulder for a couple of reasons. It's to keep the shoulder back and to start to get a little bit of a stretch through the left side. So you can keep your hand right here if you want, or as you lean over, you can take the arm up overhead, straight up toward the ceiling, and then back down, right? Not mandatory. You can keep the hand right on the shoulder. Okay, one more time, we're going to come over and we're going to hold in this position, right? Breathe in, breathe out. Arm up or arm down, doesn't matter. Whatever you'd rather do is absolutely fine. Breathe in, breathe out. Just keep that shoulder open. If by raising your arm you start to come forward, you want to pull back and keep that shoulder open. Come all the way up. Excellent. Point your toes, your right toes that is. Take your left hand to the chair, and then with your toes pointed. Now, some people are going to get the toes right on the floor. Some folks are not going to get the toes on the floor, and that's okay. We're going to lean into the left side, and if you can, take your right arm up past your ear, and then we're going to come back up. If this doesn't work with your arm, I'll give you some modifications here. You can simply lean to that side. You can also lift just the elbow, right? So the next time that we lean into that left side, put some pressure on that left hand. So again, wherever your hand or arm is, doesn't really matter. So you want to feel the stretch through that right side a little bit here. If your neck is straining a little bit, see if you can relax your neck and maybe look down toward the floor. Good. And then slowly come all the way up. Excellent. All right, we're going to bend that knee and use your heel and toe. Walk your feet together. We're going to go way over to the left side. So let the left side kind of hang off a little bit. You're facing forward. Going to take that left foot out to the side. Extend the leg, heel on the floor, toes lifted up. Okay, so same thing that we did on the other side. We're going to take the left hand down the left leg, right hand on the shoulder, and just kind of pull it back. And then let's start with the hand on the chair, just so we know how far over to go. So let your fingers stay attached to the chair at some point. So we're just going to explore this a couple of times. This just keeps you in alignment, right? Because oftentimes if we start to do this movement, this is what we end up doing. We turn toward that leg. So this is why I want you to keep the hand on the chair, so that keeps that shoulder nice and open. Great. And if you'd like, now you can take your hand up to your shoulder, or you can take it up overhead. Right? Good. Excellent. Couple more of these. And kind of work with what you've got. So if your shoulder is a little crabby this morning, and it would rather you don't put your arm up overhead, don't do it. And last time we're going to come up and over, and we're just going to hold for a breath or two. So just holding for a breath or two. If your neck is bothering you, just kind of look down at the floor. That should take most of the strain out of your neck. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, and then we're going to come all the way up. Great, point your left toes. So getting the toes so they're headed toward the floor, whether they make it to the floor or not is irrelevant. We're going to take the right hand to the chair, and then the left hand, what are we doing with the left hand? Up over, yeah, that's a good idea. So let's start here, and then we're just going to lean over to that right side. You can bring the arm up and over if you'd like, or right on your shoulder, and we're just going to move in and out of this a couple of times. Just a couple of times. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Nice, slow, gentle movement. So you want to get to a place when you lean over that you can feel something. It might be a little uncomfortable, but it should never be painful. Next time you're here, let's hold and breathe. Okay? And once again, if your neck is complaining a little bit, just kind of turn your gaze down toward the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. We're getting a stretch somewhere along this left side, hopefully. Great, and then we're slowly going to come all the way up. Excellent. We're going to bend that knee, use your heel and your toe, walk the foot around. Let's come right back to the center of the chair. Okay. Let your feet be kind of close to one another, hands resting on your thighs. Sit up nice and tall, close your eyes, and take a breath in and out and notice what you feel in your legs, your hips, your back. And notice any difference between right side and left side. And then let your eyes open. Okay, we're going to take that right leg and cross it over the left. So if you can cross your knee on top of your knee, that's great. If that doesn't work for you, You can cross your ankle on top of your ankle. That works fine. So what we're going to do here is squeeze the inner thighs together, right? So you're squeezing the inner thighs together. And when you squeeze your inner thighs together, engage your glutes so you sit up nice and tall. And then relax everything. So you feel you lose an inch of height, right? So squeeze and sit up nice and tall and relax. We'll do this a couple more times. Great. And the next time that you squeeze, hold here and breathe. So we're just going to keep holding. Now, you're squeezing the inner thighs together. You've got your glutes engaged. Those are your bum muscles. So you've got your glutes engaged. And now, as you're doing all of that, take the outside edge of your right foot, so the little toe side, and bring it closer to your left shin. So now everything's squeezing, right? Breathing in, breathing out. Keep going with the breath. Nice. One more breath in and out. And then we're going to slowly relax everything. Whew. Okay. Let's take that right ankle and slide it on top of the left knee. And again, I know this won't work for everybody, so if it doesn't work for you, have your ankle on your ankle like you did before. And what we're going to do now is engage the muscles here in the outside of the leg and pull the knee down toward the floor. Right? So if you're crossed ankle on top of knee, you're pulling your knee down toward the floor and then relaxing. If you're crossed ankle on top of ankle, same thing. You're pulling your knee down toward the floor and then relaxing. So a couple more of these, breathing in, breathing out. Now as you pull your knee down toward the floor, see if you can sit up a little taller, right? And then relax everything. So as you pull your knee down toward the floor, sit up a little taller. What tends to happen, so we're just going to do this engaging and relaxing a few times. But the reason I want you to sit up tall is because what tends to happen when the leg is in this rotation and we engage it by pulling the knee to the floor, it does this. This is a real gross exaggeration, but it does this because it's these hip flexor muscles. It's the muscles around the hip that kind of pull on the back a little bit. So we're trying to counter that. Okay. So this is about 18 times we've done this, right? Okay, so the next time you have your knee pulling down toward the floor, I'm going to ask you to stay right there. Make sure that left foot is in a good position to support you, because now what we're going to do is imagine you're trying to dive over your front leg. We're going to come forward like you could get your belly button past your shin. Does that make sense? Don't worry about your chin, so try not to do it with your chin, right? So it's about your belly button coming out over. Your neck is totally relaxed. Your head and neck are like just kind of along for the ride. So we're just going to come forward and up a few times, right? And this works equally well if you're here, right? So you simply have your hand on your thigh if you're crossing at the ankles. So once again, you want to come to a place where you have some sensation, but no pain, right? So sensation is a really different, sensation can be very unpleasant, but not painful. Pain is that thing that says you better stop doing this right now. And the next time that you come forward, hold and breathe. And so as you're here, see if you can rock just a little bit from side to side, right? Very little bit of rocking. This can help encourage you to come forward a little bit more. Keep breathing. And if you're not far forward at all, if you've come forward maybe 10 degrees, that's absolutely fine. What's most important is what you've got going on here in this right hip, thigh, knee, in the back. And you might even explore coming a little deeper into this forward bend and then backing off a little bit. Because it's surprising how much more range you can get just by doing a gentle movement like this, just by doing a little exploration. And know that for many of us, movement forward in this position is sometimes inhibited by our mind, right? Our thoughts, our mind says, no, I can't do this. And so we don't. So breathing in, breathing out. Notice where you're feeling it. Notice if you're able to get a little deeper or if it's just a little too much and you need to come back. And then really slowly kind of coming up out of this. Good. And then see if you can lean back a little bit. As you lean back a little bit, you're going to reach underneath that right thigh. You're going to uncross your leg and see if you can pull your leg up. So you're leaning back slightly. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So you can see my body is leaning back slightly, but my back isn't rounded, hopefully. I'm up like this. So I'm going to keep the knee lifted, right? And I'm going to bring the knee as close to the nose as it'll go. But don't bring your nose down to your knee. And breathe in, breathe out. Good. And then let's relax that leg. Okay, take your left, cross it over your right. Once again, knee on top of knee if that works. If that is not working, ankle on top of ankle is fine. Squeeze the inner thighs together, squeeze the glutes so you sit up nice and tall, and then relax. Once again, breathing in, breathing out. So we're squeezing everything and then releasing. And squeezing everything and releasing and breathing as you're doing this, right? And the next time that you have everything squeezed, you're going to hold here. So the inner thighs are squeezing together. And again, if you're here at the ankle, it's the same thing. Your knees are touching, hopefully, if you're able to do that. So we're here, we're sitting up nice and tall. And as you're holding the contraction in those inner thighs and the contraction in the glutes, bring the little toe of your left foot toward the shin of your right leg. So we've got everything kind of working together here. So really activating those muscles nice and strong. Nice full deep breaths. Great. And then relax all of that. Beautiful. Let's slide the ankle on top of the knee. And you might need to walk your right foot out to the side a little bit. Okay, now, again, you can be ankle on top of ankle. We're going to pull this knee down toward the floor as you sit up nice and tall, right? So relax everything, get your spine nice and tall, and then pull down, because the tendency is to round through the spine when we're doing this, and what that does is it pulls on your back. It's actually not working the hip where we want it to be. Breathing in, breathing out. So pull down and relax. And pull down and relax. And the next time that you pull that knee down toward the floor, hold here. Good. And then keeping the neck and the shoulders relaxed, we're going to come forward like you're trying to dive out over that front leg. So it's like you're trying to bring your navel out past your shin. And then you're going to come back up. So the reason for doing this is just to explore how far forward can I go on this side. Maybe it's different than the other side. Maybe it's limited by how much I think I should be able to go forward, right? Maybe I think I should be able to go farther forward than I am. Maybe I think I shouldn't go this far. So the next time that you come forward, pause here. And then, if you'd like, just a really gentle rocking from side to side. That just lets you explore this forward movement a little bit. Again, just breathing in, breathing out. You can come up a little if it feels like it's too much. You can come farther forward if it feels like it's not enough. You can kind of go back and forth with that a little bit. And as you're here, as you're breathing and you're leaning forward and you're observing what's happening with this left side, how does that compare to the other side? And as you're making that comparison, this is always an interesting little exercise to do. When we're making comparisons in the body, quite often we use words like, oh, this is my bad side, or this is limited in some negative way. So instead of making a comparison, one side is good and one side is bad, just notice if they're different. And chances are they're going to be a little different. Okay, and then really slowly come on up. And you're going to lean back with your back nice and flat, right? So lean back, reach around, grab hold of the back of that thigh. You can interlace your fingers if you want, or just hold on back there. And now keeping the back nice and straight, keeping the neck relaxed, you're going to bring your knee as close to your nose as it'll go, but don't bring your nose to your knee. So your knee has a crush on your nose, and your nose could not care less. Breathing in, breathing out. Can it get a little closer? Good. All right, and then we're going to relax that and slowly let that leg come down. Great. Bring your feet a little wider apart. Have your hands on your chair. We're just going to move the knees a little from side to side. And then go in and out. Okay. All right, and then sit comfortably in your chair. We're going to end with a little meditation here. So if you want to sit into the back of your chair, you can do that. If you'd rather sit up by the front of the chair, you can do that as well. Close your eyes. And check in with your body. So just like we did, the very first thing we did when we were together as a class this morning, I asked you just to check in. What parts of your body are feeling pretty okay this morning? What parts of your body are feeling not so okay this morning? And you can start at your toes and your feet. Go up to your ankles and your legs. Take a trip up to your knees. What's happening there? And then up to your thighs, your hips, your back, your belly. Notice your ribs, right side, left side, front, back, your chest, your upper back, your neck and shoulders, arms, hands, elbows, wrists, fingers, thumbs. And what about your face and your jaw, your head, the sides of your head, the ears, the top of your head? And notice if it feels a little different being in your body right now than it did an hour ago. When we move the body, especially in a mindful way, like through a yoga practice where we're breathing, moving, and observing, little sensors in the body get woken up. So we actually have a different sensory experience of inhabiting our bodies after movement than we do before movement. And notice if you're assigning a value to what you're feeling in your body right now. That feels good or that feels bad. Can you notice sensations? Can you notice the input from your body and not judge it as good or bad? Can you notice the input from your body, the sensory experience you're having right now, and not want it to be different than it is? Being an objective witness to what you feel in your body is a way to create a different conversation in your body. A different relationship to comfort and discomfort. Different relationship to tension and ease. can create a different relationship to pain. And just as you're objectively observing your body, can you also objectively observe your breath? Notice how the air is moving in and out. Are you breathing in and out through your nose, or do you need to blow out through your mouth? Does the air move equally and evenly between the right nostril and left? And what's the quality of your breath right now? How much is getting into your body? Where do you feel movement? Does your chest rise and fall with every breath in and out? Does your belly expand and contract on the inhalations and exhalations? Can you sense the temperature difference as you breathe in and out? And can you follow the movement of the breath down into the back of your throat from your nostrils, down into your lungs? Let your breath deepen a bit so that as you inhale, your belly expands like a balloon. And as you exhale, the belly contracts like a balloon that's being emptied. Every breath in is like blowing up a balloon. Every breath out is letting air out of the balloon. Every breath in creates expansion. Every breath out creates ease. Now take your hands up to your heart. Breathe in and out into the space underneath your hands. See if you can feel the chest rising and falling under your hands. And with your next exhalation, let it out with a sigh. Ah. And then you can maybe take your hands together for a moment, just a recognition of yourself, just a little gratitude to yourself for being here, for being adventurous. And then maybe opening your eyes and just acknowledging all these wonderful faces in the room today and at home today. You're welcome. Yeah. Enjoy this beautiful day, you guys. I'll see you all next week.